I didn't know how to start the video. I didn't want to start by like talking about this. I wanted to just start by asking him questions first, because then if I started by talking about my experience, then he would hear me, and then he would, like, I don't know, it's a weird experience, and I can't call it anything but paranormal. Otherwise, like, the cat's grooming himself. Yeah, what else do you call it? If you call it something else, then you're crazy. So, right now it has to be labeled paranormal. So, yeah. I guess now I'll just tell. I explained to my father what happened, but I'll give the story time of, like, you know, with the cat as background noise, if you can hear. So, this is my account of what happened. I wake up. Well, I wake up a few times, right? And then, but this time I woke up and I was like, there was like so much drool. I don't want to say that because it's like kind of embarrassing. but yeah, and I was like, what the heck? So then I finally get up. I was also in Spain with a heating pad, so I didn't want to get up, but now you know the context. But I finally get up, and then I see my light switch, and I'm like, why is my light switch dirty? Like, ew. So then I go in the bathroom, you know, just morning bathroom things, and then I blow my nose, and then I see the tissue, and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, how did it get there? So then my brain, it's very like, okay, there's an explanation for this. Logic. Be logical. Don't be weird. Be logical. So I was like, okay, I was painting recently. I used black paint. Okay, so let's put these two together. It's like light switch and in my nose somehow. But then I noticed it on another light switch. And I noticed it wasn't on other switches in the bathroom, which I also use. Then I noticed it was on the hamper, like the laundry basket. And then later I found out it was also on the ghost, but I'll go back to morning time, my thought process. So I was thinking, like, be logical, it's just paint. Like, you were painting the other day, like, that's what it is. But then I was like, but it can't be that, because there are no fingerprints. And then also I checked my face in the mirror, because after blowing your nose, if you had, like, if it were paint, it would have been, like, there would have been evidence of it, but there was nothing. It was just, yeah. Also, the light switches, it would have only been on the high traffic area. I'll call it high traffic area, the part that you use with fingerprints. But we see the substance, which I showed you earlier. The oils on your fingers rub it off. Therefore, it's not paint, and if it were from me, it wouldn't exist. Do you know what I mean? Like, also, it wouldn't have been all over the laundry basket. And if it were from me, from something like that, it would have been on the whites of my clothes as well. You know, because it was partially on the inside of the basket as well as on the outside. So, but it wasn't. What else? Oh yeah, if it were paint, it would have been on my hands. Like, but my hands were clean. So, and he said from the candles, but it was like, you saw the light switches. It was on specific switches all over the switch. And it comes off from your fingers. The cat was... He can do his thing. One of the cats just skedaddled. But, yeah, I'll pinch off the top of one of my candles. Or just for science. Yeah. Pinch off the top of one of my candles. It spreads. Like, it doesn't wipe off easily, but that wipes off with your fingers. This does not. Anyway. Actually, it's for science. I'm grabbing the light switch right now. And okay. It's a lot of effort, but if you see the tip of the switch, I rub some of it off onto the tip, and I can rub it off. And so doesn't make sense though, because I don't just go around touching my candles like that, you know. So, and I wouldn't rub it all over or in my nose. But, yep, that was the science for that. And where did I leave off? I was talking about the morning, I woke up, and then I checked the mirror. It was like checking your math, right? You check your math. Is it paint? Is it not paint? If it's paint, it will be on your face. But it wasn't on my face. Yeah. It wasn't on my hands. It wasn't anywhere else. It was weird. Yeah, so what do you do then? Like, because I woke up today and I was like, I guess we'll see if there's like weird stuff in my nose again. There wasn't, but like, what do you do? Especially, like, we went through the house, you saw, so it was only my room and only me. So, what do I do? Notification. It's dinner time. Yeah. What did I just think? What is that from? Get out of Dodge. What does that mean? You gotta get out of Dodge. What is that? I remembered. I need to add, like, the reason why I would have been suspicious of my father. Like, and why, like, him having almost no reaction is both surprising and unsurprising. Because, like, I saw like a short clip, like on my reels or whatever you call them, and it was like, you can trust untrustworthy people. And he was like, you can trust them to be untrustworthy. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, that makes sense. But the reason I say that is because a while ago I told him that I felt like I was drugged. And his response was that the person did it, like, to make me feel better. Like I needed to think about it, like, perspective versus reality. That's what he said. He always says perspective versus reality. He was like, your perspective might have been they did it for this reason, but the reality could have been something else. And then he said that it could have been, like, positive. And at the time when I heard that, I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, that makes sense. Like, it could have been like that. But then I went back later. It's because I saw someone, they made a video. Thanks, internet. Like, the internet's helping me so much. But he said, or someone left a comment, and he responded to it saying, like, someone's ignoring me. What do I do? And his response was, ignore them back. And when I heard that, I was like, that's so mean. I was like, you don't do that. No, you don't. And then he explained, he was like, or it made me realize that, no, he both explained, and it made me realize that, like, basically you have to love yourself, right? And if you allow people to treat you a certain way, or, like, if you don't stand up for yourself, then you're not loving yourself, and you're kind of, like, allowing these things to happen. So since then, I've kind of been more focused on loving myself. Still not 100% there, but, like, it made me realize, like, wow, I have been letting certain things happen and, like, going along with certain things because I'm afraid of hurting other people, but in the process it's hurting myself because the things that they're doing it's like if someone, let's say someone punches you in the face, right? If you go to the police, then they'll get in trouble for punching you in the face, right? Looking at it now, it's like, they punch you in the face, yeah, they should get in trouble. But, like, my thought was, like, I'm getting them in trouble, so, like, I'm responsible for hurting them. But it's like, but they still punched you in the face, you know? But I'm kind of just, like, bonk bonk on my own head. But yeah. And then later, I guess this, continuing about the drugging thing, we had another conversation about it later, and then he was getting upset with me. Like, he couldn't believe that I would think something like that of him, or, like, he would never say something like that. And then he brought up perspective versus reality again. He was like, your perspective might have been that I said something that sounded like that, but the reality was like, he was like, I wouldn't say something like that. And I was like, but you did. Like, and you brought up your Mr. Perspective, right? Perspective versus reality. Like, hey, I feel like there's something else I was supposed to say. Oh, another thought was like, someone might say it was the cats because I had the bag with the ghost like on the floor, but they can't reach the light switches, and if they could, not only would they play with them all the time, it would have been on all of them, not just like 2. So, and it wouldn't have been only on certain parts of the laundry basket, like the white part of my jacket. It wouldn't be white anymore. So, and it would have been on the carpet. The evidence wouldn't be fingerprints that we're looking for. That was Minnie, sorry. It wouldn't be fingerprints we're looking for. It would be paw prints, and that's obvious evidence, right? That case would have been closed. It also wouldn't have been in my nose. Because I sleep with the door closed. So. But yeah. Let me know what you think I should do. And like, what would you do? Because I don't know. Future me. Right now, I'm currently going through all the footage. And yeah, there's certain things that I noticed that I like took note of because like what? Because I didn't call them out at the time because they just went over my head. And also like I feel the need to preface that like whenever something happens, my first reaction is like, what is the problem? How can I solve it? Like, what did I do to cause this problem? That's why I explained, like, when I woke up, I was like, I used paint the other day. So, I must have done this somehow. So, that's the frame that I went through, because it's like, it's my problem to solve, so, like, I kept saying that, like, how did I cause this? But, like, I don't know. So, I am going to note the inconsistencies, and then I'm going to explain, I guess, why I would even post the video in the first place. So, the first issue was that he changed his story on versus off camera. So, that was the first one. The next one was when we were actually, like, messing with the ghost, like, trying to, like, test things. He said there was a fingerprint, but there wasn't. And then he called the attic a crawl space. It's not a crawl space. And he said that whatever the substance was could have come from inside the panel. That was noted as, like, a lie. But, like, because it doesn't make sense. Like, someone approaching this from the outside looking in, which is what we're assuming he's doing from the outside looking in, that wouldn't be a thought based on everything that happened. So I noted it as an inconsistency in the situation, because that wasn't one of my thoughts. Like, I'm like, it was first I saw it on the light switch. That was the first. And the second was my nose, and then the laundry basket, the other light switch, and then the last thing was a ghost. So to have all of that information, why would someone say, why would that be an argument? And then I went along with it. Like, if you look at the video, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's test this. So he does the one light switch, and then I go, and I'm like, no, we need to collect data. I'll do the other light switch. Like, It doesn't even make sense. Why did I do that? He also had no reaction to the situation or action towards a resolution. So, yeah. Like, I put myself in his shoes, and I was like, if my daughter came to me with these problems, like, what would I do? I wouldn't have done what he did. Like, my first reaction, well, I would have had a reaction. I don't know. But those are just the things that I noted when I was watching back through the video, and I was like, wait, why did he say these things? I was like, it makes me feel weird. So I was like, I need to note this. Also, I didn't explain why I made the video in the first place, because I was debating it, but I was like, it's his idea to wait until like something else happens. So like, I'm going to make a video in case something else happens. So that way, if something else happens, you know where to look. Just saying. I feel like this is stupid. Like, I read the 5-year letter, and if you asked me, like, 5 years, if I was gonna have to be, like, posting a video online about, like, something potentially happening to... What? Yeah, so... At least the cats can sleep peacefully.